How's it going, guys? Shio Wager here. I'm a little bit under the weather, and because of this, last night I had a fever dream. In this dream, I was in Doctor Who's TARDIS, got put back in time, and saw a little brown guy getting bullied by two white kids in the middle of the street. He had horrible Valorant takes. The other two were so smart. One so smart he lost his hair, and the other one lost his taste in general in football teams and Valorant teams. I wondered, where would they be in 20 years, these little kids? And here we are. Welcome to Vodfathers, episode 6. No children this time. No VODs to watch.
But I didn't bully Shio as a child. I just want to put that out there. That was a dream. It never happened. I would never bully Shio. Okay, TMV. I'd absolutely bully TMV. I'd have given you swirlies.
We know now that he's smaller than me. Okay, so we know that. You know, that wouldn't have been the case. You would have been the little... In fact, you definitely were picked on in school. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you now.
Whoa. Josh strikes me as the guy who's like... Were you like in instruments or like band camp or something, Josh? Like
we didn't really have... Band camp's a very American concept. We didn't really have that. I did play violin in an orchestra.
Okay. Damn. Wow, that's bougie as hell. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Tory, Jesus. Holy.
There you go.
Yeah, but speaking of dreams though, Shio, I did have a dream about Sideshow last night. Not that kind of dream, but in this dream, I was living in like a flat with like an old school friend I haven't seen in years, and then Sideshow turned up at my flat like out of the blue, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna crash here for a bit." Like literally, that's what he said in my dream. And then, so you're just living in my flat for a while, and then you took my computer and messaged NRG Ethan on like Discord or something. You messaged him on my account, being like, "You're so shit. You're terrible. You can't fucking play." And then he replies back like, what the fuck are you saying about me? Like, why are you doing all this? And then I discovered this. I'm like, oh my god, what has Sideshow done? You've left at this point, but you've also taken my keyboard so that I can't respond to Ethan to tell him that it's Sideshow that did this.
Can I do some deep psychoanalysis on you just for a moment? That implies some serious insecurity about the way that you're perceived by the pros for what you say on shows like this. And I think really you just got to be yourself. You got to be yourself and not be worried about how your their perceptions of you are tainted.
You're a terrible person deep in my.
Well, we all knew that,
and I'm worried that I'm mingling with the wrong people.
I want to start with hot hands and get some actual takes of this new patch because I played like 10 hours of it last night. I think TMV, you've played it. Have you played? Do you play the game?
I play the game sometimes. I didn't play it last night, so I haven't played on the new patch. But I did watch you briefly struggle again.
Right.
Weren't you guys stacking together? How did that go?
That was before the patch.
Yeah, that was before the
patch. My win rate is insane in this game. Always has been, and now that Viper is even better, and I'm one of the few people who knows how to play Viper in ranked, my win rate is going to be through the roof.
Yeah. I mean, the reason that your win
Can I give people a pro tip as well, by the way? Viper players? The pro tip for Viper players is hover a duelist until someone else picks smokes, and then last second pick Viper. And
that's actually insane. Yeah, that is a good idea actually. No, I was playing a bunch of it last night, and my hot take after playing the new patch is that it actually feels, despite all of the negativity around the new patch, it feels like an overall positive experience because the maps are so much better, and the maps just make a way bigger difference than almost everything else. I'm there playing. They've changed up the map pool generally speaking as well, right? So Split has come back in. I'm excited to play a bit of Split, even though I absolutely fed on it last night. But then you're playing on Abyss, the new version of Abyss, and it's like a breath of fresh air. You're like, oh my god, this is so good. This is so interesting. I'm like, even if you're anchoring B and you're failing at it because it's new. You're not failing at it because the map is bad, right? And then on Pearl is beautiful. Pearl's B site is beautiful. The map itself has now rocketed towards being one of the best maps out there, I think. So, yeah, my overall experience playing the game was like, I thought I might not enjoy some stuff, but honestly, I was just playing the same old game, but with better maps is what it felt like.
Yeah. I think for me in ranked, like one of the things I love to do, because my aim sometimes is not up there, is use the brain. And one of the things that's the most annoying is smokers can just take you out of the game if you're like 5-hitting something or double faking something for so long. The fact that Omen, Clove, everyone has just like a 10-second delay on some of these smokes opens up a lot of the map on like ranked attack a lot, which is really nice.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, and then the big thing with the maps that have changed, I've lost like 5 people to map changes so far in Abyss at bottom mid. Just trying to run into something, trying to go to like platform 3 3/4, whatever it's called, running into a wall where there's no entrance. Like, you are not a wizard, bro. You are not Harry. Like, you're not the chosen one. It's in bottom mid halfway now. The entrance to B site is not where you think it is. It's crazy.
Can I just pull up for a second though that you said platform 3 3/4, which is just platform 4? That already exists. That's the thing.
True. Maybe that's why I never make it into Hogwarts, man. I'm in the wrong place.
Bro's just sat King's Cross Station at platform 4, real trains pulling up, and he's like, where the hell is the one at Hogwarts?
But one thing to do as well, if you want to pull up my, I posted my tracker link just to show you my experience in rank so far as someone that hasn't even played. If you go to like just scroll down, I guess, in the competitive tab, all acts. I'm not sure if we can pull it up for ourselves. Maybe you guys can click into it. I see no difference. My last 50 games or something are veto. My character was not changed. I have had no difference in rank whatsoever, and I only see green. I feel like I'm a 50-year-old man who was born in like 1960, who has a wife, 2 kids, a white picket fence, and a green front yard. You know, I've been door-to-door salesman on like grass seeding and like how to water it and stuff. I've said yes to all the little kids with their little small businesses, and my grass is so green right now, it's crazy. I'm farming these kids. I'm teleporting site to site. Things I said in the last episode, I've been doing. I've stood on business right now.
Okay. I wouldn't want my stats on the screen either, but when I'm looking at these and I'm seeing a win percent of 49.4, kill per round 0.6, like...
Hold on.
It's not the greatest thing to pull up in the world.
It's all axe.
Well, yeah, give him a break. Although negative win percentage, come on, Shio. 49.4 all X.
Do you want to know?
But it isn't though. Like when you look at the actual like win loss at the top, it's positive. So I don't really understand what's happening there.
You know what I did the most recently? The most recent thing I've did, Josh?
Draws.
I 5-stacked with you and Bren and everybody in the world, and this 5-stack has lowered my 60% to a fucking sub 50. I don't know how that's happened, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, the thing that I would say is like I would echo both of your points, especially about the maps. The map, well, we are going. we're stuck here, I think. The map changes on Abyss. I think the little mid connector, like changing where it is to be more kind of on the defender side. Yeah, that's an amazing change. That is such an important change to the map. And I literally can't wait to see how teams use that in pro level, because defenders now, like if you put a smoke in mid, you can like beat the attackers there. You can get in there, right?
Yeah.
So particularly if you're playing Yoru or something, and then you can pinch on B, which is going to be so cool. Like because before, like aggroing on B was just like it was a hot mess, right? Like you had to commit so much to it to make it successful. But now, like if you can pinch on B main, like that's such a cool little different way of approaching the map that was literally like impossible to do before. So Shao dies across from me. One thing I would say though, and Shao, you have kind of brought up this point, and I'm actually my video about it today is about this, because I just find it bizarre, is that they seem to have just forgotten certain things. This is the part that like really I'm like is almost concerning to me, because there are certain things like the stun change, right? And I've already said like I don't like the making all the stuns the same for many reasons. One, it's a tool you can't use. 2, not all stuns are equally easy to hit, so why should they be the same? 3, though, Teo's stun is still 4 seconds. Why?
Very good.
Why? Sky's stun
as well
is still 4 seconds if you hit them. So is that just like things like you say about Vito as well? I brought that up on Fletcher. Like, why is his signature ability not 60 seconds? Why is his ult, which he gets a stim from, that's not the same as now all the other stims in the game? Like, if like, and obviously all these things are very easy to fix, but I do think that that's it's a lack of attention to detail that is a bit like, don't love that. Don't love that we seem to have missed things overall. But I do agree overall with the maps. Very positive change.
I would just say with the like agents too, I've been playing more controller than I was playing initiator. The initiator changes look a little frustrating to play around, or maybe just not even frustrating so much as like I was playing with people, and the most obvious adaptation to what's going on is that you just don't use a recon at the beginning of the round. Like in ranked, let's say. I mean, in the pro level, you probably still will because the fight for map control is super important. But at the ranked level where things are a lot more sloppy, people are just holding that signature piece of util until there's a real purpose for it. And maybe that's what the developers are intending. Now, actually, what that means is you get way more just random dry fights at the start of rounds, which are, your classic ranked experience. It doesn't feel pleasant at the beginning of rounds, but it doesn't change too much in the middle of rounds. You still have that piece of util to be able to work with. People are just saving it at the start. The controller changes, though, I would echo what Shayo said. Even when playing controller, they weren't that frustrating. You know that there's, like, for example, I was playing Sunset. I'm pushed up deep on A main on defense. I'm throwing that one way that everybody throws, and I'm holding it. Now, normally, you can just keep cycling that kind of permanently. And a pro team would be trying to find the timing when the Omen is putting it back up to try to swing in, or they'd be trying to drone somebody off or whatever. But now, even in ranked, there is an extraordinarily clear window after you've used 2 one-ways for the attackers to go in. But as a defender, you know that they have that super clear window, so that's when I'm holding my paranoia and going for the re-clear to buy time for the next smoke to come up. So there are still ways of playing around these things. It's not just a strict nerf, it's just that you have to adjust how you're thinking about these cycles a little bit more. And again, like I said, like overall, it just felt like a pretty similar game.
Yeah.
The weapon changes I didn't even realize because I'm too crap.
The gun changes have spoken the most to me because they've adjusted things for like people that spray a lot more. That extra 6 bullet on both the Phantom and the Vandal specifically, man. A 6 bullet spray you can control, and later movement on like the yaw and the pitch sway is crazy for like a guy who doesn't do the burst tap move. Like I've been getting 2-3Ks like nuts. The Spectre is something I see being forced like crazy now, and actually pried over the Guardian sometimes by some people because of how strong it is in mid-range. Especially for like a character like Chamber, Tejo, Jet, people that are like really quick off the draw and like to move around a lot. Like it's insane how accurate you can be now in your spray, in your gunfights from long range. Kind of feels like a little CS-y, like in terms of some of the fights you can commit to. But there definitely is a big change.
Josh, what I would say about the gun, particularly the yaw thing, is if you just go into a custom and just like hold down mouse 1 the whole time, you will notice when it does that it is significantly slower and easier to
Oh yeah.
Like because I just did that today, like whilst I was just testing out some things, and like it is very noticeable how much time you have to realize like, oh, this thing is going like super slow across the screen. Like it's quite noticeable, I would say.
But I think that I'm not saying that there are no changes. I think the changes are meaningful when it comes to the weapon stuff. But I'm saying that because I haven't changed my behavior, as in I am still because it's coded into my muscle memory, I'm still kind of tapping or bursting, strafing. I'm still playing the same way. The game feels the same because they haven't made that style any worse. What I haven't done is go into a custom, go into the range, and learn how to actually get the best use out of spraying. So I haven't put that time into figuring out how the changes would benefit me. So I'm just playing the exact same way, and it feels very similar.
Now, one thing you brought up, Shio, that I think is important as well is the Spectre. Because you're right, I've seen some clips of people using the Spectre and it looking like, it's back. We all remember back in the day, well, maybe Shai, you don't, but back in the day, the Spectre was, the gun, right? Before the Stinger, the Spectre was like arguably the most OP gun for a while. And if you remember, during this year, there was a time when quite a lot of Pacific teams were using the Spectre like quite a lot. And we're saying like, this gun is actually pretty good. So if they buffed it now, and that maybe those specific teams are onto something, like maybe we're back with the Spectre, which I don't know if that's a good thing, to be honest, but like it might be a thing.
Yeah, it's always been the same on like the anti-eco round. Like it's been a really strong gun, but its prowess on the like bonus round is nuts now. Like you can go toe to toe with a rifler, especially now they're kind of incentivizing spray battles almost. Like you can be really agile with that gun. You can be very accurate. I think up to like almost 20 meters now is how like it extended from like I think a range of 14. It's nuts on how good it feels to use the Spectre. So yeah, it's changed a few things in ranked. My hot take is because of like the lack of because you guys mentioned this earlier as well. I think it was Josh or Tim, and you guys reiterated it on Plat Chat. Not having that first use of utility like Sova Dart, or like some type of info to not have that 60-second cooldown. I feel like Tejo, I think we're gonna go through deja vu. I'm calling it early in January again. Tejo is like so good again, because like he doesn't have that. He wasn't on the bus with everyone else where they all got to, you know, go to the first stop and use their util, and then you're on to the second stop for util again. Now everyone's on the Tejo bus. Like we're riding on the rinkety dinkety thing. The door squeaks. Back seat has one hinge off of it. We don't got premium services anymore. You're in the same situation where the first 30 seconds, dry fights. Who has the strongest util a minute into the game? It's Tejo, man. Double salvos, the drone, and the stun again. That hasn't been changed. Sky as well, man. Like not having to use that flash, but now everybody doesn't use their flash at the very start. Like these characters who've been problems before. Viper as well, who just hasn't been changed. Josh, you're talking about those smoke windows. Her windows are still gapless. Like that hasn't really changed as much. It's crazy. So having her like a double smoke with Sky Tejo seems much more oppressive than even the Tejo meta we had when it was Tejo Breach. Imagine double controller with a Tejo that has prime time utility 24/7. Like it's crazy, man. I'm just trying to theory craft some stuff for January, and it looks more troublesome than what we had last year.
Certainly could be. Let's go and sleep with the fishes. If you could take one thing out of this patch and put it in the harbor, the Brooklyn harbor, is that what people do? You're stuffing it into a bag, you're tying weights to the bag, and you're dropping it to the briny depths. What are you taking out? Like, what is something that's been a bother for you?
If I could only take one thing out, I would take out the Astra smoke cooldown, so that you had an interesting dynamic between Astra and Omen, where Astra's smokes came up quite a bit faster. Omen still has, you know, probably better util in general overall, right? But there's more of a trade-off there. I actually think had they have nerfed Omen in that way and not Astra, you can keep the like cooldowns for the like the grav well and the stun that they changed. That I'm fine with that. But if they would have just kept Astra's smokes at 25, I actually think that would have created a very interesting dynamic of like which one you want to pick, and there being like clear like strengths and weaknesses to each pick. But because they also nerfed the Astra smoke cooldown, I feel like, you know, you're still going to pick Omen most of the time. So that's probably the one thing I would have said.
Yeah, I like that one. I would change all the Yoru changes completely. Like, I hate the Yoru changes so much.
Okay,
I think it doesn't tackle the problem, the fact that he was just an initiator. Like, I like the flash nerfs because I've seen the effect of them in ranked as well. Like, teammates getting flash, but not happening for too long now because it follows the same, you know, fall off rules and stuff. But like, man,
actually, that's a good point. Anytime I do play with Josh and he tries to troll me by team flashing me, I will be less affected. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, but it's
when
like
he gets paid to flash me, by the way.
The fact that, like, I mean, it's good against Yoru, I guess, but if it hurts my heart, like, every time I face against him. It's like I was on, you know, a football team with a few players and then got transferred to a different team, watched them play, like, significantly worse, and I feel bad for them. Like, a Yoru ults me now, and I'm no longer, like, threatened. It's like, okay, what are you going to do? I'm going to see where you're coming out from. There's no creative flash play. There's no clone that's going to be coming out. It's whatever. Fighting him with a gate crash, you know exactly where he is now as well from where he TPs from. The creativity from the agent just got kind of taken away, and his flashes got kind of nerfed. I would have loved to see like a Phoenix switch with the agent where like you swap his flashes for his signature role. Maybe he only has one TP so he's not so omnipresent, and then like he has to earn his flashes by fighting, which is much better than just using all his flashes to set up his team, right? Because that's an initiator. So there were so many ways to go, and now there's just not enough. He's not a trickster anymore. This guy went from the Joker in a 52 card deck to like the fucking 6 of diamonds or something, mid-ass card. Like it's tough, man. But I'm only playing Veto. I'm chilling. It is what it is. When I go back to Yoru, I'll be sad. I'll be super sad.
Okay, I've got some more things that I want to sleep with. I got some more things that I want to sleep with the fishes here. Okay.
All right.
Here's one of them. It's a bit of a stretch, to be honest. What if one of the NRG players ends up sleeping with the fishes? What if Som and Ethan's contracts are up at the end of this year? There's rumors that NRG are looking for a controller/flex player, and they've been highlighting or focusing on Zekken potentially to fill the gap. What happens if Som or Ethan ends up sleeping with the fishes? And by the fishes, I mean the stream viewers. And by sleeping, I don't mean having sex with the stream viewers.
Whoa. You gotta change those emojis up.
Hello.
I think, well, again, obviously, it would depend. I think if they lost both of them, that would be a very big deal. I think they could probably more afford to lose some than Ethan at this point, because if you lose Ethan, then you're in a weird spot where, like, who is IGLing? Like, you know, would some or someone else take over IGLing at that point? Would you look for another one? I feel like that would create more confusion. If it was just Som who was going, I feel like that would be more easy to replace. Shia looks like he's about to burst.
A fly just flew into the room and has started washing its hands.
All right. Let me cook here really quick. My hat just like really went down. Okay. Think about it. You're losing Som and Ethan, and you're looking at Sentinels players. You're looking at Zekken. You're looking at it all wrong. Zekken's probably going to 100 Thieves. Speaking of 100 Thieves, just take their smoke in IGL. Do the biggest trade you've ever seen. Minus Bang, minus John QT, plus Ethan, plus Som on Sentinels, and NRG gets Bang and John QT. Now, look at their reactions. Look at their faces. Same faces that were made when I said Sentinels are going to drop Zekken. What's happening right now? Who's the one player that's being paraded around the entire city? What did the entire comment section say on episode 3 of Vodfathers? What is Shia Wager smoking? Zekken, out of all people.
Because also he's not being dropped. It's just come to the end of his contract. That doesn't mean he's being dropped. I'd be if you're saying he's being dropped, I'd be amazed if Sentinels
might be the wrong question. I'm just saying the player that's being paraded right now, the person that's being negotiated.
Every time I have a good take.
But why not? Why not Bang and John? Like, if you're losing an IGL,
Bang and John.
Yeah, if you're losing the smokes. And think about it from Som's perspective. Why would you leave NRG, a team you just won with? What is a ladder step up? For Som, it might be streaming. I want the clout.
Yeah.
How do you get the clout and the gameplay at the tier 1 level at the same time? NRG to Sentinels.
Okay, I'm not bothered about that. Like, I could see a world where Sen want to throw an absolute bag at some of the NRG players who've just come to the end of their contract. I could see that.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is why NRG would try to fill the gaps with 100 Thieves players. Or
no, I said
Sentinels players. Yeah. Why would they want to pick up Bang and John?
Because I think they're both really good at their roles. I think they've had a nice year, not like a year that has the best results, so to speak, but good gameplay overall. They've leveled up the entire time.
So you want John to play Initiator as well, by the way, in this?
Yeah. Or like things might change. I mean, he's been in that role a little bit. Like
you're getting two straight downgrades, I think, there in terms of actual gameplay.
Really?
If John is on Initiator, I think Ethan is strictly better than John on Initiator, and I think Som is strictly better than Bang on Smokes.
I think John plays Initiator so differently than Ethan, to where you get a little bit more firepower from John. You get a different type of leadership from John. And when it comes to Bang, this guy, champs, was like the highest rated smoke player of all time. This is coming from a guy who's hated on Bang for like 4 years just because of the org he's on. And when I actually looked into his stats, the way he's playing in America specifically, 2G, G2 boosting era, you know, like, you're looking at rank, look at Group A in Stage 2. Anyways, Bang is
such a good way of describing America's the boosting year of America's 2025.
Like Bang is the best smokes player in America. In America's, my bad. The best smokes players in America.
I don't agree. I mean, maybe the stats say that, but I think he's really... I think his anchoring play is pretty damn good. I think that he doesn't have the same versatility in terms of his play style.
Was he put into positions to have that versatility, though? Like, do you blame Bang for that, or do you blame Sen? You know, like...
We've seen it on 2 different teams now. He also did that with 100 Thieves. And I'm not saying that he hasn't had some really high highs. He definitely has.
Yeah.
But I think when you're comparing him to somebody like Som, like the floor, the bar's pretty bloody high there, man. Anyway, I think that the point that we started with was not so much is Bang going to bloody NRG. The point was like, so Som and Ethan have both said that they're not retiring, by the way.
They both said they're not retiring.
They've both said they're not retiring. Now, they might be doing one of the devious things on the internet known as lying, but who knows? Who knows? I think it's more likely that the rumor might have started because one of their contracts is up. Well, both of their contracts are up.
But if you were NRG and Zekken was available,
holy shit,
would you still not try and get him anyway?
Yeah, but I don't think I'd want him to play Ethan's role. I think that would be a waste.
But do you think he
Who
could
would
play
you
the
sub him out for?
Psalm
Psalm?
role? If the
I don't
contract
know.
is up.
Smokes type shit?
I don't know.
He's the Omen one trick?
It's a bit weird, isn't it? But I think that Zekken could be really good in that. I think Zekken would be great at whatever he did. To be honest, he might be great in Ethan's role too. He would provide a huge amount more fragging, but it would change the.
Could he
it would
take
change the
Brock's
team
role?
completely.
Could he hold
Yeah.
that gun?
Oh, he's played a
Yeah,
lot of
Hold that
Soba.
side down.
He actually
Played a
could.
lot of Soba. It is good.
Genuinely good. I think the only thing I wouldn't put Zekken on is maybe like a Senti role, just because.
Yeah.
To be honest though, maybe he could. He could play like a
play
Leaf
Senti as
Sentinel.
well, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he could.
I think you could put him genuinely on anything. TMV, Riot have got an offer that we can't refuse, and I want you to take us through it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know that much about it because it's all rumors, it's all whispers, it's all down on the down low. We're keeping it secret. You know what I mean? Because apparently there has been. This is how it always seems to come out. Job openings, the job offers. Apparently, Riot is offering jobs to work on some kind of game that people think is set within the Valorant world. Think of like TFT for League, right? So same sort of characters as Valorant, but a different sort of game. People are speculating that it's some kind of extraction game, but it could be something else. You know, it could be I don't even know. Well, it could be anything, to be honest. Who knows? But the Riot is going to make some kind of other game within the Valorant world.
They said FPS as well, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So
They did say FPS on the job. I'm pissed, first of all, not to jump in here like it's a wrestling match and my intro's playing, but holy crap. They're looking for jobs for a new game when Tier 2 is suffering? You're going to put that money for those people in the Tier 2 scene, man. Are you kidding me? What are half these teams going to do after Ascension? There's so many teams they have to take care of. People got to eat, man. What is going on?
True.
That's a face rub if I've ever seen one.
Tier 2!
Yeah, outside of the fact that they're, siphoning this money away from Tier 2, illegally siphoning this money away from Tier 2, we should say,
Yep.
to building this other
TNTV
game.
stands for Trump. The illegal money being siphoned away.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, do we want to have the reputation as the Valorant podcast that hates Tier 2? I feel like Shai was bringing us down that path a little bit.
I love Tier 2. I want them to have more money.
We're not
That's what I'm saying.
We're not mocking Tier 2 with those kind of takes either. Like, the mocking is of the people who incessantly think that, like, any amount of extra money should be poured into
the
that.
people watching this are smart enough to fully understand that?
Okay, so I wasn't the one who questioned the intelligence of our audience. I
Not
just want to put
you.
that
If
straight
you
out
are
there.
listening to me right now, you know that you're smart enough to understand it, but the other people watching this show, do you think they're smart enough to understand it?
The M in TMV stands for mocking. So we have Trump mocking, whatever the V stands for.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? That they're looking to create related IP, but a different game, even though it's an FPS. Like, you'd think they'd just want to build it out within the same title. Maybe it's
It's genius.
Is it?
Maybe honestly, this patch is was them admitting we're giving up on this one. We're starting Valorant 2. Maybe that's what it is.
No, it's like instead of like fixing all the problems of the last one, exactly, just make new things and focus on them and make them more refined. I think TFT is a really good example to TMV. Holy fuck, we are acronyming the hell up here. But like League had a lot of issues with the client. There was like a lot of balance stuff that was going on when TFT got released. But when TFT came out, the balance for it was easier. The UI and stuff was like a little bit newer to be able to work with and things. So like when it comes to like refining the product, like it just leveled up really hard, really fast.
It's a completely different game.
I know. Okay, but same dev and
talking
same approach. So like think about this: Valorant and like I don't know, VFT. You know, whatever it's gonna be called. First of all, think it'll be like a little bit of an Overwatch thing, right? Josh, don't get too excited. But if we're looking at slow, do the hands. But if we have like a slow-paced FPS game, and we're sticking with FPS still, and we have heroes, it either seems like a Valorant thing, or if I go to my experience as a gamer and like DLC packages for games that already exist, Call of Duty, Dead Ops Arcade. It might be like a top-down, like, you know, a twin stick shooter, right? There's been many options for FPS games to get like bonus content, and like it just seems like something fast, something arcadey. They already have something that came out of alpha, by the way, another game called Amarant, which is like a dating simulator. Amor, by the way, in it, you know, as friend for the French. It was on beta, by the way, like at Paris, at like I think PAX or some other places as well. But they're developing things. I just think that if you're making another game in Valorant, and guns are going to be a part of it because that's Valorant's universe, right? Has to be something fast. And if it's a hero shooter, you know, some Omen has to move the spike, and the spike is a payload maybe that goes across the map, and like now you're capping flags back and forth and things. I don't know where I've seen that before, but yeah.
Sure. I suppose okay. I think a lot of people will be coming at this from the perspective of like, it's going to take time and attention away from Valorant. It clearly seems like they're looking to hire extra people and view it as an extra project. It's not like 2XKO took time away from Valorant just because Riot was making something different, right? So they have different departments working on different things. I don't think you can say that just because they're taking another project on.
Well, they forgot that Teos done.
Well, they did, but I don't think your theory is that they forgot the Teo stun because the guy working on the Teo stun went to move to the fighting game.
Well, he's an extraction shooter. What's the rumor about it being an extraction shooter?
I just saw people saying that it's an extraction shooter.
I think just because they're popular at the moment in terms of the genre. Because normally the publishers, the developers try to hop on whatever the like trend of the fashionable thing is. Like how many Battle Royale games were coming out at the same time as Battle Royale games were popping off. And that's now died the death. I think by the time they create a game like this, extraction games are going to be dying the death as well. It feels almost like a fool's errand to try to follow the trend rather than try to set it yourself. Like the reason the Valorant I think has been so successful is because you're basing it off something which is what is it? Is it technically called like search and destroy? I don't even know what this game mode is technically called. Defusal game mode. Right.
And Cardiff was search and destroy.
Right, okay. Yeah. But like that style of game mode has survived for decades within Counter-Strike. So it's clearly demonstrated its ability to last the ebbs and flows of people's whims. Whereas other stuff hasn't necessarily, I don't think. It seems a little strange to me, but Godspeed to them if they want to make something cool like that. Yeah. Should be. And again, it is an offer we can't refuse because Riot's going to do it whether we want them to or not.
Yeah. I'll stop them. I'll do it. Send me in there. I look like it already. I can espionage anything right now. Hack it in. I got it. You're in.
Typing on his keyboard, swiping his hands, rubbing his face. God, my hands are so sweaty. Oh. Should we go through some of the roster moves? I've got a format for this, right? I want to do it as high key, low key, no key, and I've presented 3 options for each of these players, and I want to do it somewhat from the player. We'll do it from the player's perspective first, and then we can talk about it from like org's perspective, wider perspective, that kind of thing for each of them. All right. First of all, we're going to do it from the team's perspective. My apologies. First one's MIBR, right? So if you missed the news, MIBR have allowed Cortesia to explore his options, even though his contract extends until 2026. So normally when you see they're, free agents or whatever, it means that their contract has expired. Specifically for Cortesia's sake and for some of the other players we'll mention, it's because the team has decided to let them go potentially, with always the option of retaining them if they need to. Now, if you're MIBR, would you rather have as a Sentinel Cortesia, less, who's just been allowed to explore options on Vitality, though you'd have to pay a buyout for him, or Luke Show, who you might be able to get from Loud? I'm just checking Luke Show's contract here. Luke Show has a 2027 contract with Loud, so you'd have to pay a buyout for Luke Show or less. But it may be better, or are you going for someone else? Where's the high key, low key, no key? Who are you going for?
See, I'm gonna play the Skyrim skeleton key, and I'm gonna unlock all doors here. Hear me out, because I think
you're signing all
aren't
three.
They also getting rid of well, here's the thing. I'm gonna pick up Cortesia to play Smokes, and I'm gonna pick up either of the other two, buy either of the other two, and put them on Senti. And I'm feeling good about where I am at. If I can get Cortesia on Smokes and one of those two on Sentinel, sign me up. We're winning champs.
Yeah, because they are also looking to get rid of Shenom, who's also on a 2026 contract. Kind of crazy after how successful they've been. But
Skeleton Key.
Skeleton Key. I like it. I mean, dude, I've just been seeing a lot of the contract stuff that's been going on with MIBR and been flabbergasted at like how some players have been swindled to play an entire year and they thought they were playing an off-season soup tournament. Anyways.
Oh, well, that's fucked, isn't it? That's absolutely despicable.
So I want to give them like the rinkety dinkety key. Like, I don't even want them to be successful. Take less.
The broken key.
Yeah, take the broken. But at the same time, has anyone ever seen Cortesia and Luke Show in the same room? I swear to God, they play the same game, the same way. Lurky, like make the play for their team type shit.
Perhaps.
Luke Show, like you can see it when he's on camera, like there's that Henry Cavill CGI over his lip, like he has a mustache. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something going on. But I think I'll just ride with TMV here. I think the Cortesia Luke Show pickup will be sick. That'd be so dope.
Okay, but not the less. Less is a no key.
I would personally take less, to be honest. I think I'd be in on less for this team as well. What, you don't think a team with Aspas and less can do well?
I think
I might have seen it before.
True. I just feel like where less is coming from was a little bit of a cursed land. I'm looking at the feng shui of the situation.
I'm giving all Vitality players a pass. I think that the roster construction just didn't work and didn't make any sense. And
revisionist history here because you were so forward before.
No. Well, yeah, well, it is revisionist because I know how it turned out. It turned out terrible. But I think that, like, for someone like Les, like, he's going across the world in a different culture, speaking a language he's maybe not fully comfortable with, and said at the start of the year he definitely wasn't fully comfortable with, to play on a team that basically, you know, had a non-functioning IGL system. Like, I don't know. Like, do you blame a guy who, you know, is struggling to speak the language with a team roster that doesn't really work as a cohesive unit?
No,
has also won champs and been one of the best players historically in the world. Like, I just think send it back to MIBR and we'll be cooking.
I absolutely hope he comes back to Americas in some way. But what I don't understand about your team suggestion is that you can definitely move a Senti player over to Smokes or something, but you've got all three of them on the team and Aspas and Verno, right?
No, I would take one of Luke Shaw or less.
Oh,
take
one
both.
of. Right,
Yeah.
okay. You're just...
I'm just saying that
like, who
either
costs
is a good
least.
option. I'm happy with either.
Okay.
Bring either.
All right.
Like
Reasonable.
XOR gate, yeah, in engineering. Shout out anyone in school. Holy shit.
All right. What about Zekken then? Because the rumors around Zekken has come to the end of his contract, and it, I think, behooves Zekken enormously to play the field, at least to some degree, even if all he wants to do is drive up his price to re-sign with Sentinels. So the three teams that at the moment the rumor mill is focused around are re-signing to Sen, 100 Thieves with Cryo because he's got that exit thing, and who knows, maybe 100 Thieves would want to put some money in to avoid getting kicked out of partnership next year. And NRG because they might be looking for that like Smokes flex player that we discussed earlier. So if you're Zekken, you're Zekken's agent advising him, and you're presenting him the high key, low key, no key, what are you going for there?
Skeleton key G2?
For God's sake, man. The skeleton key, team heretics.
What use?
Well, yeah, mate.
But also G2 are not looking for people, right? Like G2, you just think I literally ask
you
anyone.
think if he offered himself, you think if he flirted a little bit with G2, you think if he showed a little leg to G2, they wouldn't be like,
I think they
actually.
might. Yeah, I think it's
there you go.
possible.
I think Baby Babe will hit him with like a fucking spike, like a wrestling ring. Like he just fucking headbutt him out of the way. The Baby Babe's just there, making sure nobody touches the good vibes he's built over at G2. You know, he's just the protector in the offseason.
You think that Zekken would be bad vibes? Is that what you're saying?
He's not going to be bad vibes, but he's not going to be the vibes they have right now. You know.
Well,
I think
of the
Zekken-
three options that you offered to me,
Yeah.
I would say 100 Thieves would be the no key option of those those options, and then I think either Sen or a NRG would be perfectly fine. He like the thing if he does.
It's not called fine key, skeleton key. No.
Well, 100 Thieves are no key. Are you happy with that? They're no key.
Yep.
I'll lock him with
I want a high key and I want a low key.
High key Sentinels.
I'm with Chio. I think high key I'd go. Because I think you'd want to. What I was about to say, if you fucking let me finish, is. is that if he goes to NRG, he might have to play those other roles where I do think he could do it, but would that be his absolute best? Would that be the best for him necessarily? I'm not sure. And I think the Valorant is a game where, yeah, sure, NRG just won champs, but is there any guarantee that they're gonna, be that, like, it's like, let's be honest, this game is probably the hardest esport to predict ever. Who fucking knows who will be good next year?
Fortnite next question.
Hardest team esport ever.
Fortnite next question.
Owned. He actually knows negative ball about Fortnite. Doesn't realize that it wasn't just a solo game.
You have a 12-team league, 50-team league, or 50-team finals. Who wins, DMV? Who's your top 25? Those would be your videos in the Fortnite verse.
I'm taking Booga and Benji Fishy because they're the only players I know the names of.
Yeah, well,
not bad.
I'm talking about games that are alive. And not from 20. What fucking year was Fortnite big? 2017?
17,
It's actually bigger than it's ever been at the moment. I mean, I won't get into the numbers, but it's going crazy.
Why don't you cast it then?
I mean, there's so many. That's not this episode.
He's so angry. He's so angry.
I'm happy right now.
Anyway, what was your sideshow? What would you do?
I agree. I think I would stick to that. I think that driving up the price to re-sign to Sen is, I think, the odds-on best thing that zekken can go for. Outside of being offered a genuine super team, and I don't think that NRG would be a super team. Like, if they lost Summer Ethan to replace with zekken, the addition of zekken is the thing that makes it better. It's not that zekken would be joining a team that's already, like, insanely stacked. They did just win champs. I'm not saying that they're not an incredible team, but they're not one of those teams that you're looking at like the original Fnatic in 2023 where you're thinking they should be on for every title next year as well. Like, I think there's a strong chance that NRG could go deep in another tournament next year if they kept the exact same roster. But would I be predicting them to win a tournament again next year? I'm not sure, because it's just there's so much competition at the top end. And so zekken moving role and going over to a team like that, unless it's for a big payday.
Aside from Fortnite, God, this has got to be the most competitive esport that is out there.
Yeah, probably. Josh, I mean, one of the most global esports ever, but apart from Fortnite, obviously.
Yeah, apart from Fortnite, of course.
Yeah.
Josh, what's behind door number 3?
Behind door number 3 is Saadhak. So Saadhak has been reported to go to crew, right? But we're not dealing in reality here. We're not dealing in reality. We're dealing in possibilities. The possibilities for Saadhak were try to stay with Carmen Corp. I'm not sure whether he got pushed out the door or whether he left, to be honest with you, but let's say that was an option for him. Apparently Loud were interested as well in re-signing Saadhak, which I can see a very happy guy at the end there. And crew, right? Now, the report says that because he was in advanced negotiations with crew, that he's decided to go in that direction. But let's say we take a bit of a step back and all things being equal, where would you like to see Saadhak, or where do you think Saadhak would fit best?
No key, we can all agree, KC, right? Big chilling. Hear me out. Low key, Loud. And I know that's crazy because I was pulling my fist, but low key, Loud, because that would be just kind of nice, that would what's it called? A deja vu, back to the past to see what we could do again. High key crew, because I think crew's been centered so much on the duelist and Kesnet's story, this, that. Let's see what Saadhak can do on crew with what's left of the talent there, plus who they have left to pick up. Plus, like, all the legacies being segmented, or is it segmented? What's the word of concreted? All the legacies being
cemented.
Cemented. That's the word. Yes.
Concreted is good.
I'm sick. My brain's not working as well as it usually is. All the legacies being cemented right now with Spike and Sato going to Lev at the moment, and shit looking good there. There's so many big things starting as the VCT partnership era is ending in 2026. I feel like Saadhak to crew is another one of those legacy pickups where something could start here. for 2027 and beyond. If other teams are leveling up like this with big acquisitions, maybe this is Cruz.
My question to you, Sideshow, is who is actually on Loud for next year? Like, who do they have?
Great question.
Verdi confirmed.
Under contract.
Under contract, they actually have everybody. So nobody's contract expired at the end of this year. However,
they've already kind of said that. I'm pretty sure Robbie BK has already said he's looking for a team, right?
Yeah, and I think Pancada. No, I think I'm confusing Pancada and Tui's actually.
Because if that's the case, then I think Chayo's right in terms of going to crew and basically getting to build a roster that you want rather than being kind of inserted into a maybe what's going to be a pre-existing roster and kind of having to make that work. I think him going to crew and kind of having the choice of whoever he wants is probably going to be his best option.
I'd like to give you a different take because I think I would reverse the high key and the low key, because while I think the consensus does seem to be that crew's the best place for Saadhak to go, I think the problem with it is that you're really limited in terms of talent to be able to pick up, because Lev have already got the majority of the up-and-coming LATAM talent because they're on Lev Academy. So you're not getting those guys. And you're also not able to get the Lev players that are kind of like the good up-and-coming Brazilian players too, like Sado and Spike. So actually what you're looking at is like a bit of a washed-out rebuild of old crew players with maybe some up-and-comers that we're not as familiar with, that maybe, you know, some of the up-and-coming Chileans or something that that maybe Saadhak's got a bit of a better eye on. But I think it broadly means that you're going to just have to revamp what you've done with crew and hope that Saadhak can make it better. Now, if he goes to Loud, though, you've actually got the opportunity to harvest some good-ass Brazilian talent. Like, for example, in the conversation we were having earlier about Cortesia, Luxo, or less, right? It's kind of unlikely, I think, that they take your point of view on that, TMV, where they take 2 out of the 3. It's possible, but I think 2 out of the 3 are likely to still be left for other people to pick up. And so those are sick ass.
Can you get that on crew, though? Why couldn't they?
Yeah, because like if you look at Ascension right now as well, like TSS that are playing around Team Solid, like you've got DG Zen, PXS, Havoc still in the business, Rafa, you know, like I mean, probably.
Are you saying
Rafa,
those as good players?
If DG's in right now, if he's not picked up on crew under Saadhak, like
to be fair,
I do not want Havoc or Rafa back in.
When you were talking about crew, I was like, oh, let's just go and quickly check who's like on the LATAM teams in Ascension. I click on this on 9Z, and it's Taco Leah, Delzik, Nags, and Klaus are on that team.
It's just recycled. It's just recycled talent.
Old crew
so, like,
players.
Either way you go, if Saadhak goes to crew or he goes to Loud, you've got to be making at least half Brazilian team anyway, because that's where the talent is. Unless you just want to do basically crew plus Saadhak, which I'm not.
Well, I would also push back on you a bit there, though. That's where we know the talent is. That's not necessarily where the talent is. Like, unless you're going to tell me, Sideshow, that you've been deep into the LATAM Tier 2 VODs, watching them all, seeing what's going on.
I have been talking to the LATAM casters about this kind of stuff across Americas, and whenever they're talking about upcoming talent, the main team they're talking about is Leviathan Academy, and talking about how excited they are for those players to ascend. They are not talking really. I've heard a little bit about what's his name, Merida Ninja,
Mephisto?
Something like that. No, there's a guy called something Ninja who's Chilean, and what the hell is his name? He's on one of the Ascension teams at the moment. He's a Sentinel player, and I've heard a little bit some rumblings about him, but generally speaking, I haven't heard like exciting things from the Tier 2 scene outside of Leviathan Academy, and those players are locked up. So I think he's going to be on like a mixed. I think it's going to be like Lev, where it's a mixed Spanish and Portuguese speaking roster anyway. Not that that's a problem for Saadhak; he's fluent in both. But I think it makes more sense.
Maybe that's what Loud was missing. Maybe that's what. Maybe your key is the right key for the door, because I feel like that clearly was what Loud was missing. They had everything in terms of like the ammunition. The ammo just didn't fit into the gun at the end of the day with Robbie, you know. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm determined to find the name of this Chilean player.
I look through all the teams. I do not see Tyler Blevins or Ninja anywhere. Like, I don't.
Dude,
what is brother talking about?
Dude, have I hallucinated this player? I swear to God, he's out here somewhere.
Is it Nito?
No, bro. His name is something Ninja. Hold on.
Dude. Mikey Tap?
Bro, where is Mirada Ninja? His name is Mirada Ninja, and you know what? He plays for Lev Academy anyway. What the fuck am I talking about? But he's Chilean. He's Chilean. So I guess that was the connection that I had to Crew, is that he's Chilean rather than being from, like, I don't know, anywhere else. But what the hell does it matter if he's on Lev Academy? Because, again, they have prior.
Shall we move on?
Yes,
what's the next
let's. Okay. Next one is... I want to just get your reaction. Are you excited? High key? Low key? Decent move? Or no key? Oh, God. What the hell are they doing? To a couple of changes. First one. Ewok leaves RRQ. It's his decision to leave. How are you feeling about that?
Low key.
Go on, Chiro, why?
I don't have much context in terms of, like, I haven't been too deep in the RRQ's how their situation is with their coach and, like, the players, and how things go back and forth, as familiar as I am with other regions. But from what RRQ showed, like, in champs and what they've been doing throughout stage 2, I've been a little bit more tapped in with. I feel like, you know, they could just use a breath of fresh air when it comes to maybe direction of what's happening this next season, especially with maybe things might not be looking on the same focus like Jemkin and how things go there. But I think have a different coach could be a good thing. And I think Ewok could get picked up by anyone else. Low key good move.
He said he's taking a break from
coaching. So Ewok wants to take a break. Yeah, it wasn't RRQ getting rid of him. He wants to take a break. I think for them it is not ideal, but they do have Warbirds there, who I assume will probably just become their head coach, because he's already been a head coach before and was actually pretty decent with Team Secret. So I assume that they've already got kind of a ready-made replacement, so it's not going to be a disaster, I don't think. But RRQ are an interesting team in terms of, like, they obviously had a successful season, you know, from, like, where they were before and, like, what our expectations coming in were. But they never, like, when it mattered most, they fell on the floor. You know, like, they never did anything in any of the internationals. So that, I think is, like, an interesting thing, Loveland. Like, what do you do? Do you look for, like, you know, we've seen a lot of teams make one roster move and it, you know, greatly improves them or something. Do you try and do that? They're in an interesting place. I don't know if you got the database for them as well, Sideshow, of, like, where
the database. Oh, right, for like which players are coming to the end of the contract. I do. Give me a moment. RRQ, I have everybody on a 2026 contract.
Oh, so everyone. Well, I mean, they have to keep Jemkin. You got to start there. You have to keep Jemkin. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be interesting then to see how their roster ends up shaking out, because it'll be interesting to see how they view their own season. Yeah. Right. And I do think that in Pacific, you know, you're talking about there with, like, Crew, is there enough talent, you know, elsewhere? I think the Pacific is pretty loaded, right? There could be a lot of, like, roster shuffling going on, but there's a lot of good players kind of across Pacific in general, I think.
Sure. Yeah. It's not like they had an untalented roster to begin with. I think Loki's a decent way of reviewing that, because it's like, it's not like they had a choice in it, but it could have a positive outcome in the sense that they might get some fresh blood in there that gives them a different energy, or gives them the right learnings they need to be able to take their performance and do it at an international event. But that's not to say that Ewok was in any way a bad coach, because I think the coaching of RRQ was pretty damn good throughout this year. The second one is Autumn leaving T1. Maybe he could go to RRQ.
Yeah.
They performed well at an international event.
TMV, what is your key on this one?
Oh, man. There's a lot of Autumn haters, and I don't want to, like, join in, because I don't want to be, like, too harsh on someone that I don't know. But I do think that, like, I do think that T1, as we've seen, you know, they won a Masters, right? So clearly something that they did worked you know, because they managed to do that, and so clearly something went right for them. But I do think that and I haven't been a T1 fan this entire season, and I haven't liked the way they played this entire season, even despite the fact they won a Masters. But I got to watch them play live against G2. That was the day I went to go watch them in Champs. Sideshow casted that game. I watched him cast the game live, and everything about it was awful.
Because he could only hear the French commentators.
Because I could only hear the French commentators. No, but what I mean was, like, T1, you could have not understood anything about Valorant, and you would have, like, you could have even not watched the screen. You would have instantly known that they were getting battered. Like, they had no energy at all. They were just sat there in silence the whole time. Even when a round went their way, even when someone did a really nice play or something, they were just completely dead on stage. Like, absolutely dead on stage. And then they're taking multiple... Autumn would take multiple timeouts, and they'd come out of the timeout, and it'd be the exact same. And I just, like, that to me, watching live, seeing them be like that lack of energy... This was a Champs elimination game against G2, who you beat in the Bangkok final. Like, you know, in terms of, like, going into a game, could there be more kind of narrative and hype around it? Probably not. And then they just didn't even bother to have any energy during the game. That, to me, is like a massive red flag. And so I think, obviously, the documentary had that document. And this is the thing about Autumn, though. Autumn had haters before that documentary came out.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was haters of Autumn going way back. So... Look, I think that it probably does make some sense for them, even though they did win a Masters. But I just, like, this team has, the thing is, this team has the talent. And we were saying it at the start of the year, right? Like, oh, is this a super team, you know, a Korean super team, is what some people were saying, right? And we know that they've got the talent to do it because they already did it. And then they arguably got an upgrade in DH midway through the season as well. Oh,
absolutely, they got an
upgrade. So yeah,
yeah,
like, it should be all there for them to become a regular perennial contender for titles. But going the way that they were, I don't think that was going to be the case. So
yeah,
high key.
Ooh, okay. It's funny that you mentioned, like, people that have never seen Valorant before would have that take on the T1 G2 game. My wife tunes in from time to time just to see, like, how games are going. She has, like, her own, like, you know, little Valorant universe in terms of the teams she likes and what she expects. That match specifically, she's like, why is T1 playing like this? Like, these guys are supposed to be good. I'm like, holy shit, Rosie, how do you know all this? What's going on? Like, because she has a little bit of inkling. We host, like, watch parties for World sometimes in League, and she thinks sometimes that can translate, like, the org's aura from, like, you know, esport to esport. But she's like, the T1 shouldn't be playing this way. And she understands crossfires and things like that, but she was, like, going hyper analytical as to, like, this team doesn't look right now. This doesn't make sense. And she's also Autumn here, which is interesting. You know, like, she doesn't know anything about timeouts or, like, what a coach has. He's not privy into it. So that's the whole thing that's happening. I still go on the side of no key for this one because of the, yeah, I know that's a hot take too. I know I'm on the grill right now. I'm getting seared. You know, internal temperature 160. Tasty. So I think that the way these guys approached Masters Bangkok is the advantage that T1 had as a team and that Autumn has as a coach as well. When the meta goes crazy, when there's things to adapt to, I think he actually has a pretty good grip on, like, where to keep his team. And I feel like that could be a very good advantage for T1 coming into Chile, right? That's where we're going for the first one. That is something they could stick with. If it doesn't work, then maybe make the Autumn change. But I actually like this team coming into an event where, like, every team is kind of discovering who they are and what they should be. I think Autumn's a damn good coach for, like, a team that has that type of, like, question mark above them. He can guide them in those scenarios. Now, when it comes to stage 1 to stage 2, when it comes to development, when it comes to, like, you know, getting that extra mile forward towards the very end, he doesn't have a good track record this year, right? Like, the rest of the year was kind of what the fuck is going on. But that first event, like, I think that unless it was the team doing it themselves, like, he had some input that clearly won them a Masters, and I think we're going to be in a very similar situation, and they could maybe use that. So I'm going to say no key for this one. If this change happened in stage 1, I would say, brother, give them the key to the city. Like, what a good fucking decision. Let's go. But for just the kickoff, I would say keep on him.
I've got to go with TMV here and say that this is high key a good decision because there's two main things I think that I focus on when it comes to this guy. And it's possible that he's got the worst PR of any person ever in the Valorant scene, and he's actually good somehow. But my God, it would take a conspiracy level aligning of facts in order to make me believe that that's true. Because every extra piece of info you hear coming out of the T1 camp is in the cons column, basically, for his coaching. For example, when Meteor was talking about his tack timeouts, and it's like, what are you talking about? And then give the context. What was Meteor saying in the tack timeouts? What Meteor was saying, he was doing a VOD review of one of their games at Kickoff, I believe it was, something like that. And he was saying that in the tack timeouts, I'm paraphrasing here, but it was something like, the tag timeout was called, and I believe Autumn said something like, their A seems a little weak, and Meteor was like, do you want us to go A or not? Like, what? Like, give us some direction.
Give us a strat.
Give us a strat. Give us some direction, man. And so in the end, he was like, yes, go A. I think it's weak. And so they used his adaptation, and they ended up winning. And so Meteor was framing it like, we had a bit of an internal issue, but we ended up getting a great result out of the end of it. And everyone else is just like, red flags everywhere. What the fuck is the coach doing, giving such
conspiracy?
Paltry info in the middle of a tag timeout?
I can give you the conspiracy theory for that one. He needed his players riled up in that moment, and he knew to just had to monkey rage bait them, Well,
but that's the other thing. He's great at rage baiting his team, apparently, too, because the internal atmosphere that at the end of the day, is he solely responsible for the team atmosphere? No. But is he ultimately accountable for the team atmosphere? Yes, because of his position as a head coach. So he isn't the only person that's providing negative input into the team environment, but it is his responsibility. He is the one that's accountable for helping to try to solve it, to mitigate it, that kind of stuff. And it feels like instead he was just chucking coal on the fire the entire time.
Look, during my master's degree for coaching, that watching parts of that documentary felt like they would show that as like teaching tips.
Yes.
On like what not
to do.
Yeah, of like then they would pause the video and go like, and so guys, what's wrong here? Like what instead should we be doing? Like I can relive that experience of like that actually happened during my coaching degree of like they would show videos of like team atmospheres and be like, you can tell here that this coach like isn't talking to these people in the right way. He's not understanding like how to talk to each individual and their different personalities. Like, yeah, I mean, you could tell. I mean, you got E2 and Sylvan sitting there like this, like, whilst, him and Stacks go, oh, what the fuck are we doing? Like, obviously, it wasn't a great look. And maybe T1, maybe the Korean Scrim Mafia, we're here on Vodfathers. Maybe they've got this all set up. Maybe it's a long-term plan. Hey, guys. We just won a Masters. We know the rest of the season isn't going to go well. We can tell already with this team. Let's make a documentary to set up a fall guy. Let's start building in the seeds.
They set up
let's
two
start
fall
leaking
guys.
Things. Hey,
one is Sylvan and one is Autumn.
Go and tell that story about the timeout. It's not true. He said the whole time, just go away. Go and tell a little lie.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
In translation, guys.
It's either the most elaborate conspiracy theory or it's the most cut and dry case of just the guy isn't, like, at the very least, the right fit to be a head coach on a team with such abrasive personalities. And I think that's being generous towards it. And I think there is a case of, like, you don't want to fan the flames of the Autumn hate because it really has become, like, a burning inferno among the community.
Yeah, and again, I would say, like, for most coaching, and we've got some little tales here of Autumn, for most of the time, you don't get that, right? Most of the time when we're basing these coaches, we're literally just basing off, like, did you win, right? Did you win, and do we like your comps? That's, like, most of, like, the coaching analysis that you can give most of the time, because you don't get those, you don't get a T1 documentary, you don't get Meteor telling those stories about other coaches, so most of the time we're just, because so much goes on, we haven't been in T1's org. Like, maybe he did do a lot of good work. Clearly, whatever was happening during Bangkok, did work. It did work.
But also crucial.
Benching Sylvan and bringing him back after a game,
but it
worked.
But also, a lot of that was Carpe's influence too, from what has come out.
That's what you
about the team,
think.
too.
You don't.
I mean, that's
know.
what they've said. I don't
That's what
know
they've
that.
said, but you don't
That's
know
true.
exactly.
It could just be hearsay. They could all be lying.
It's the conspiracy.
That's why I'm saying.
Carpe all the
Yeah.
credit. We love Carpe here. Oh, we love Carpe.
Well, the interesting thing about T1 is that Itsu is coming to the end of his contract. And I think Itsu's a must keep if they want to make this system that they've got work. Because I think Itsu's seems like he has a pretty good attitude, extremely good flex, extremely good skill as well. And he fills a lot of the problems that otherwise the roster would have in terms of playing its style, its comps, these kind of things.
Yeah, in this game, like, you know, as we've seen with the most recent patch or any patch that happens, and you know, 3 different metas that happen every year in different maps, if you got good fraggers who can play a bunch of different shit, well, keep them. Just keep them. It really is that simple to building a roster. If you got someone who can shoot, that can play a lot of different roles, just keep them if you can.
That's all I've got in terms of the high key, low key, no key, though. I don't need to pick your brains any further on these kind of things.
Wonderful. Well, I'm sure we'll do more as the off season spirals on and we see people move to different teams, and well, this is always the exciting part of the off season, really.
Yeah. Should we end with some certified Ascension bangers?
Perhaps.
So the some of the Ascension games are going on like as we're recording. We're going to date ourselves here because we don't do this show like, you know, straight out live. But DRG was losing a map. I don't know whether did that game already conclude? Yes, DRG lost 0-2 to Any Questions Gaming. Massive favorites. Enormous favorites in China Ascension. Yeah, it's literally just a question mark.
Now that is lose by the 4 rounds.
By the way, that's Simon's team. Simon of EDG, goodness. That's his team. Any Questions Gaming. And now they've just beaten the favorites in China Ascension in the upper semi-finals. So they're facing Rare Atom in the upper finals. DRG, in order to maintain... DRG, who came second in China, would now have to win a lower match, a lower final, and a grand final with map veto disadvantage just to get back into Tier 1. That is fucking brutal.
Jeez. XLG, man. Dodged a bullet, I guess, of Simon's farming everything happening inside Ascension.
But also, Vikashu's visa basically has just screwed them for an entire year.
Yeah.
Maybe they wouldn't have got out of the group anyway. It was a tough group, but they would have had a chance.
Think about it this way for China, though, right? If DRG doesn't make it, like, you have Nick, Flexin, Vukashu, Akaman, and Spirits just released and into the wild of, like, getting picked up by any of these teams.
Wolves. Let's go.
Yeah. Like, those players are not getting left out. It's just the org.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Just be the org.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly, Kongshu's still on the bench as well. Like, he could also be easily picked up at any point right now. I think he's their dedicated sub, but...
So honestly, all of those games are kind of tell you what though, game 1 is kind of a banger even just then. So lower round 1 is Dragon Rangers Gaming against Octagonal Disposition Gaming, which already an insane
for the name.
An insane name. They're a team with Ichin on the team. I don't know whether people will remember him, but he used to play for Attacking Soul Esports, who attended Tokyo, I want to say. Yeah, attended Tokyo. So a pretty forgettable team, but doing all right down there. Yeah, it was.
Are you sure? Wouldn't it have been 2022? Wouldn't it have been Copenhagen?
No.
2023 was partnership.
Chinese teams only started getting put into...
Oh, yes, of course. Not Chinese
it's China.
Partnership. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, throwback.
And then Rare Atom with a team that, like, were good a while back, but I don't know anybody on their roster anymore. So they're in the uppers. On the Pacific side of things as well, Nongshim Red Force might be about to just lose.
Yeah, I've got their game up on
like live.
Second monitor. Yeah,
it's
11-11.
They just won a round though. Just came back. 11-11. Make a wish.
But they're already 0-1 down in the group.
Yeah, because
they lost.
You know what? One thing I thought when I saw their group was this is actually a fairly tough group. Like, even though I thought, they'll definitely win, they'll be fine. Like, of the teams that have kind of historically been fairly decent in, like, you know, these Ascension tournaments or whatever, like, you know, Nous and Full Sense are kind of like regular attenders who always have like fairly decent teams. So Yeah, if they lose this, I mean,
They're kind of done.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cinematic at least for all the teams that we know of, like from just the VCT from this last year. Like even that DRG game against Simon Seam, 12-14, 11-13 as like a VLR score watcher, right? Seemed like banger games. And this Nongshim game is 11-11 on Ascent. You had a Sunset that went OT where Nongshim won, I believe. And then an Abyss that almost went OT, 11-13 against Full Sense right now. Yeah. And now we're on Ascent 11-11. I mean, if you're looking for VODs, man, I know we're the fathers. It's on bangers right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, there's some good games.
Well, one thing we didn't mention with the patch is that the patch is making me less excited to watch games right now, because I'm just like, oh, what we used to have. And the map, like I watch Abyss and it's like, oh god, you know, I watch someone play Abyss. It's like the old version. It's like, Jesus, save me, God, why did we ever bother with this?
It won't be long though for some off-season tournaments or even Game Changers Champions. Where I don't know what the map pool is though for Game Changers.
Same map pool or like the new map. It's all new.
So it is.
They gotta adapt the new maps.
That's
new
crazy.
patches.
That's ludicrous.
And they're traveling to, I believe, what is it, Korea? Like the entire time. So
Brazil, right? Isn't it? Am I losing my mind? Is it in? Oh no, sorry. America's Ascension is in Brazil.
Yeah.
It's in Korea. Sorry,
it's in Korea.
You're right.
Yeah, it's insane. Too much to adapt to.
So one of the problems with Nongshim is that they don't have Persia playing because Persia's unwell. So Persia's got whatever these two have got.
Sorry. Yeah, I was allergic to I don't know, bad Valorant. That's
so they're playing. They're playing with
one.
Exros instead. Boom, however, lost a bunch of their good players, and they've still been kind of just slaughtering their way through the group.
Yeah.
13-5, 13-7, 13-1, some of their map wins. So, no problem.
The thing that I think is interesting for Nongshim in particular is, like, obviously they're good players, but, like, again, the Korean teams, like, are going to be hard to get onto. Right, like there's not going to be a ton of spots on the Korean teams for them to get onto. Now, maybe there's one or two spots in China. Maybe there's one or two spots on some of the other teams, you know, for them to maybe get onto. But like, if they don't make this tournament, like, not all of them are going to be playing in Tier 1 Pacific. There's no way.
Well, like, there's an opportunity in Stage 2 to like still be a team that might be able to make it a champs. And worst comes to worst, it's not like...
Yeah, but Shio, we've removed all the money from Tier 2 to make this other game.
Of course, how could you forget?
It's just a year off. It's just a year off, right? Because 2027, whatever shakeup's happening there, whatever things in the blender right now being...
Hold on, do you want me to live cast round 24? I mean, 12-11, Nongshim with a chance to win, but it's like tiles, aggro, mid-play, full sense, 12-12, OT, never mind.
That's great casting. That's really good. I'm looking at America's Ascension as one of the tournaments that I'm like genuinely pretty excited to watch, because getting to see some of it is recycled older talent as well, but some of it is like up and coming talent from LATAM, which again, we've talked about the fact that we're not as up on that kind of stuff, so it's always fun to watch Ascension and see it, but also just seeing the North American teams, I think Envy in particular for me, and seeing if they're going to simply crush, because they should be really heavy favorites from what I understand. So that opening game in Swiss Stage Round 1 is like the best. Are they the best LATAM team South, I think? They won 90 won the Latin America finals, but I don't know whether that's just South or North or whether they combine them together. But it's a team with Takolia, Delzik, Nags, Klaus. So it's like, it's an old version of Crew.
Yeah.
And they're playing against Envy, which will be fun to watch. So I think that's a certified banger to open up.
I'm personally just opening the Winthrop University to go there, because it would just be kind of strange to have a university team make it all the way to Tier 1.
Yeah. That would be sick. Yeah, what happens when you graduate and like we have to start talking about people's GPA and their games?
Actually, how would that work? Because obviously they would then have to move, right? Then would the university then have to like start paying for the accommodation and stuff like that?
Would you do remote?
What's the question?
Like, because obviously, like, part of the university's deal, right? It's like, oh, you can come to our university, you know, and and I guess like have a scholarship, right, for like the university. But then if they get into tier 1, they have to pay them a minimum amount of salary. They have to get them accommodation. Like,
yeah.
How is the university going to be like, no? I don't know how it would work.
That is funny. I was just thinking about it in the sense of like them continuing their studies. But yeah, the idea that they would then be on the hook for... I mean, they're already... Yeah, I don't know. Are they not compensating the players at all? Is it all compensation through scholarship, through like reduced tuition fees and that kind of thing?
I don't know.
No
I
idea.
don't know.
God, we need to get in touch with some people on Winthrop University.
Yeah, like, can they win this? Are we gonna have a guard situation where it's like, yeah, we can't ascend. We didn't. we don't have the money to just like pay you like a fucking lecturer.
Maybe
you could offer like a double degree now instead of just like whatever you're going for. Like they could be.
The likelihood is though they're not actually going to win, and it's sick for the bragging rights for the uni is huge. Like they can talk about the fact that they're like the greatest esports university of all time or something in North America.
Yeah. It's crazy looking at some of the hate that Winthrop's getting. It's because like, how do you hate like a uni team doing well, right? Like you gotta slightly get creative with it, or people are coming in from the weirdest angles. There's some people saying, "What the fuck did Winthrop do? Sign a bunch of tier 2 players?" Like, yes, they're a tier 2 team. Like that's how it works inside tier 2.
That is allowed.
That's been like the harshest criticism I've seen so far is they're signing people that played in tier 2. What is this university doing in tier 2? Like what? Just watch the games, man.
But also that's sick. Like if you sign tier 2 players and you're saying that, because again, I'm coming from the perspective of I think they have to continue doing their studies at the same time. Like you have to be enrolled in the university, right? At least to some degree.
The coach actually responded to that thread, and he said, "Yeah, these guys go to class. Like they're actually part of the university."
So but you're taking players, so you're not looking in your university and then turning them into players. You're finding players and then giving them an education. I mean, that's great. We need more education in the Valorant scene generally. It can only be a good thing. Now, I'm pissed at EMEA Ascension. I don't know if you guys have seen, but the format for EMEA Ascension is a travesty compared to the others. They've got GSL-style groups, which I'm super down for, but because there's 2 spots available, instead of running a double elimination bracket like Pacific, where the winner of the uppers and the winner of the lowers goes in, they've just put a single one semi-final game to get to tier 1. So once you get through your group, there's 4 teams that get out of the group, and then you get seeded, somewhat arbitrarily.
Yeah.
You might just have both of the best teams on one side of the bracket in a single elim.
Don't make it, yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's just obviously a terrible format.
Yeah. That's not good. That's definitely not good.
Meanwhile, Genomates just strolling back into the league. Hey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just kind of shit.
Is there a banger match in EMEA though that people should be looking at?
Teams that I think people will probably... I mean, that first game between Focus and BBL Pacific, Focus have kind of consistently been... And actually, I mean, Mystic is on Focus, that a lot of people will know, but if you are...
Your boy Lewis...
your boy Lewis, Alorante, Zus have been constantly in these tournaments. BBL Pacific, if you know them. Actually, Lovers Rock was... when I went to go to the Ascend facility... and they had just played a game against they were a free agent team called Chippy Chappers, and Lovers Rock absolutely destroyed for quite a while on that team, and he's now on BBL Pacific again, which if you remember last year's Ascension, they finished second and almost won, and should be pretty good, but if they don't make it, they'll probably be on BBL. Enterprise are a team that again has Domer on it, and Zeke and Kiles. So 2 old Ascend players, and Domer obviously who was at Champs. So that's a team that people probably can get somewhat...
Starsrose brothers on it too.
Yeah, somewhat excited for.
The Ulf versus Job Life, or ULF versus Job Life, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. That one looks like... Because that's like the cracked Turkish team, ULF, who've been winning like... Is it Ulf?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's great.
The logo is a wolf.
Oh, so it's supposed to be like wolf. I get it. So they just won the Red Bull Homeground Turkey qualifiers as well. They won the EMEA, beaten Mandatory and Dynasty and Twisted Minds, who are all in this tournament too. And then Job Life, they were the team that like Lohan came from that team. Who else came from that last year? There were a bunch of players who came from Job Life last year.
was on it, I think.
Was it Robbie as well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and now they've got a team that people will know as well, right? Starkso is there, Sivo is there, Shin is on this team. Like
Chiwa, who was supposed to be playing in BBL in Tier 1 this year, but couldn't get a visa.
Yeah. So
am I mixing that up? He was, right? And then that was the player
he was
that they
meant
replaced
to
with
be on
Magna.
BBL, yeah. And then, to be fair, I mean, I'm looking through these teams, like, even Mandatory as well, who are another French team are in there, have Enzo on it, and Kellogg's, and Takas.
Yeah.
So, a lot of familiar
names.
names, to be honest, there in the EMEA, that people will know who they are, probably if you've been watching the scene for a while.
I think Ulf Job Life and BBL Focus should be some really, like, banger games to tune into if you only wanted to catch, like, half of it, and then wait until later. But for EMEA, you got to watch the groups because the playoffs are almost non-existent. So, like, the groups matter so much in EMEA compared to some of the other.
But to be fair, I mean, you said, like, this is the positive and negative of this. Those semi-final games are going to be banger.
Oh, they're going to be unbelievable. But
because
holy shit, I'm going to be annoyed. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll
be like, you just got to hope that they're stomps. If they're stomps, then you won't be annoyed because you'll be like, okay, the best teams made it.
Now,
yeah, but you've been slightly annoyed.
As we wrap up the episode, I'm still looking at my second monitor, and Nongshim, Ivy in a 1v2, he didn't pull it off. He was just about to win it for Nongshim.
14-14.
Oh, it's 14-14. I'm behind live, dude.
Yeah, it's 14-14.
So
Laz,
you guys,
Laz with the clutch for full sense, not the Laz.
You people at home will know what the score is, but we are living in the past, and we have no idea whether Nongshim is still in the tournament.
And put our money on the line. Not actual money, but...
I think Nongshim are out.
Shayo?
I think Nongshim are in. 16-14.
18-16 Nongshim. You heard it here first.
You literally heard it here last. It's the last place you heard it. Because this episode's going to come out in like a day or two. I think that does it for us, though, for this episode, does it not?
Yes.
I think it does.
Okay, wunderbar. Subscribe to the channel if I know that we've had quite a few people watching, so hit the subscribe button. Tune in next week. We'll be talking more about roster moves and all sorts of silly shit. And also, if you've got an idea about a topic that you want us to discuss, then please put it in the comments. We are down to talk about flies and how they eat food. Get us out of here.